Hi everybody, thank you for liking, sharing and following my car talks. My name is V and I started doing this in 2015, and the last year and a half I've doubled down and I do a recording, a car talk, wherever it comes from, my backyard, my pantry, my bedroom, mostly the car, just sharing stuff that's happening in the life of a girl who's trying to just level up, and someone in their 50s who's doing the best she can and trying to be more so that she can add more value to the world. So for some reason this has popped up on your Facebook feed, or maybe you've been following, and I'm so grateful to those of you who do, and to those who subscribe. Thank you. I really appreciate that next level connection that you have made to me. And one thing I really wanted to share with you today is, I'm actually in a transition period in my life at the moment where I'm looking at doing something else, and I can't really talk about it at the moment, but very soon, in the next couple of weeks, I'll be able to share with you what I've been doing. And this transition's been happening for the last 6 months, and it's been slowly stepping out of one thing and into the next. And that actually is true when it comes to stepping out of one version of yourself and into the next version of yourself. But I have been identifying with myself as the person who is going into and becoming and working toward. And it occurred to me this morning that it's time, and the only way that my brain is going to be able to make sense and match me to the future that's awaiting me is for me to actually be that. Because your brain is predictive. It actually predicts what's going to happen next. And we often think that we see something and then the brain has to make sense of it. But actually what's happening is we see something and the brain takes that information, it predicts based on our information that we have, our upbringing, our conditioning, anything we've learned, anything we've done, anything we've experienced, anything that we've seen in the past. It's got all that information, and it takes whatever our eyes see, ears take in, feeling, smell, and it makes a prediction based on all of the past information it has, and it predicts what's about to happen next. Now the problem is it's predicting the future based on past information. So in order for me to get to the future version of myself, I need to give my brain future information about what my future self might do, feel, think, smell, act, say, hear. And so the way that you do that is you need to be and act like your future self. And what you're doing is you're training your brain and giving your brain the data that it needs to be able to be a match for the future you. So let's say, for example, you're single and you want a relationship, and you've made a list of what a great relationship would look and feel like, right? Not necessarily a list about who that person is, because it's never going to be accurate. You're describing a person, but I think that's part of it, but it's not all of it. What you really need to do is say, if I'm in the relationship of my dreams, it's going to feel like this, right? So you write all those things down, and then you go, right, well, the person who's in that relationship, what would they need to do or be like? How would they act? How would they talk? How would they think? And you need to start being that person. It's going to be hard because you're not that person at the moment. You're going to have to do it in little chunks. For example, that person who wants to be with someone who's active and outdoors and loves to socialize, then maybe you need to be the person who would attract that kind of person. Start going for morning walks at the same time every morning. Because guess what? The person who likes to be outdoors and likes to be active might also be on those walks. And then your brain will start taking in this information, and it will start matching itself and start looking for, predicting, and seeing the people that you need to be connected with in order for you to be in that relationship. So it's actually quite simple and yet complicated at the same time, because we're asking ourselves to be a different person, and we're also trying to understand that the brain is working from an outdated model, right? I want to be that person, but I only have access to information that says who I am now and my past. So we need to give the brain more information. So we need to think about who we need to be, and then we need to give our brain little opportunities to experience what that person might look and feel like to be that person. And then we need to trust the process. We need to keep our eyes on the prize. We need to focus just on that. So of late, I've been the person who's been focusing on the journey, and I haven't actually given myself an opportunity to feed myself the information it needs to be the future me. And I've been doing that because I've been sharing so much of my experience with you, and I've wanted to share all the tiny little crazy parts, you know, the vulnerabilities, the thoughts, the doubts, the excitement, the actions, the thought processes, the opportunities that come to me. You know, even doing this car talk, you know, it's interesting. People might say, oh, you know, she's all the time, and I'm so grateful. Like with Facebook, Instagram, we get to choose to like silence, move on, unlike, all that stuff. We're in control of our feed, right? But the beautiful thing I have at the moment is I have a community around me that is witnessing me, supporting me, encouraging me, even sending me DMs when they're concerned about me, cheerleading me. And this is what I want to be for other people. So I'm so grateful that future me has already created, because I've created this opportunity for myself. I've put myself out there every single day, and I've told people that this is the person I am. I want to remind people in the world that they're important, and I have attracted these people around me. And so the me that did that had to put myself out there every single day. I had to not think about people hating on me, judging me and all that kind of stuff, because the future me that's confident enough to do this doesn't worry about that stuff. So in that sense, I've been really, really good. But now I need to level up, and I need to level up to that future me that says, I'm ready to step into the next version for myself. This is what kind of thoughts, behaviors, beliefs, actions that person would have and do and be. And that is something I was realizing this morning. I'm on my way to a meeting and going, years ago, I would have said I'm not a morning person. And yet I am a morning person, not because it just happened, because I just chose it and then I did it, and now it just is. So I'm not sure what you got out of it, but if I had to simplify my whole, 8 minutes with you today, and I'm so grateful that you give me this time that you'll never get back. I just want to bring value. But if I could simplify it all down, I would say, if you want to be a better version, if you want to be that future you that you think would make you feel good, happier, more joyful, more uplifted, more valuable for the world, then you need to be that person now. And you need to look for people who can show you what that looks and feels like, their actions, their beliefs, their behaviors, their thoughts. And just in the smallest little ways, every single day, even if it's for 15 minutes, be that person to give your brain the data that it needs to match up. So when you get to that future version of yourself, you're ready for it. Because the future is not going to wait until you're ready. It will be there for you when you're ready. All right, it's a difference, and it's available to all of us. Neuroscience backs it all up. So I'm just grateful to you. I hope this has been of some value to you. I'd love your feedback. I love your DMs, and I'm just so grateful that you're in my life. Have a great day, guys.